And the thing is like you said, it kind of has to be an organization at all levels. You can't really do a one and done kind of mindset when it comes to this. But for the youth pastor that's maybe like, all right, no, I can see this as a flaw of mine. I can see this as maybe a hindrance that's currently a part of me, or maybe yeah, now that you're speaking on this, I have had like a bunch of parents and my pastor kind of getting on to me for not being organized. Where would you recommend that they start as far as like a, hey, hit the ground running with these 3 things to get organized?
Well, what I would say is, first of all, they have to check their own habits, right? If anything is going to limit you from being organized, is going to be your own bad habits. And do your own inventory. Am I late to meetings? Why am I late to meetings? Do I feel like I have to stop and get Starbucks on the way to the meeting? Do I have to finish whatever it is I'm doing? Whether it's like, this was bad for me. I used to like have to, like back in the day when you couldn't DVR things, right? When you couldn't record things or they weren't streaming, you had to watch it in the moment. You had to like, oh, listen, I got to watch this. This is like, an end of a show or whatever it is. Like, I got to watch this because it's not coming back on. Or you have to rent it on, DVD or whatever you have to do. And I said, well, I have to then internally look at my own habits. What is causing me to be late? What is, there's a certain sense of narcissism too that you have to look at that says, well, this meeting is going to start when I get there. I mean, you have to then reel that in and say, well, are you simply just focused on yourself and that everybody else can wait for you? So I think it's a matter of inventory, first of all, is to make sure that you are taking care of your own personal habits, whether it's your streaming habits, your watching habits, or whether it's how you organize your time at home. But call out those bad habits, write them down and say, look, these are bad habits of mine and I have to do this. And then I would put, what are the consequences of these habits? What is it causing me? How much trouble is it causing me? And usually we don't change anything unless there's a pain point, unless there's an opportunity where we say, this behavior hurts me. It's hurting me professionally. It's hurting me personally. It's hurting me in my character, maybe because people don't see me as trustworthy to handle an assignment. Whatever that is, I think you have to first start with that. The next thing I would say is, if you're wanting to be organized, you want to be able to try a lot of things, right? There's all kinds of tools out there that you can use. What tool best works for you? Now, I've tried everything. I've tried everything from, having huge marker wall calendars on the quarter, right? No lie, I used to, at one point, had 4 calendars. I had the calendar, my planner, I had the wall calendar, I had the church calendar, and then I had like a calendar at home. So every time I wrote something down, I wrote it down 4 times. Now, I'm not saying that's what you should do, because I think that's a bit overboard. And I had to say, okay, I got to focus and kind of bring everything in here. Otherwise I may miss something. But try everything for your own sake. Try, like I've done Post-it notes on the wall. I've done just writing things down and do that. But for anybody that wants to start getting organized, try digital, right? Try apps like Calendly or Monday or, your own, or Google Calendar, or something that is accessible everywhere that you can say, oh, I can just tap into that and get a hold of that. Try a pad and paper. If you find it best to use dead wood, man, that's great. Go ahead and find a planner to do that for you, or just a yellow pad and say, this is Monday, I'm going to write all these things down. If it's visuals, if you do need visuals, if you need some sort of visual element with that, well, then go ahead and use Post-it notes, or use different things that are going to click with you visually to remind you that these things are happening. Also try audio. If you want to record, and most phones have a memo app on there where you can do an audio memo. If you need to record your day and then listen to it back, well, go ahead and do that. That's an easy way to try as well. I think it's a matter of trying a lot of things and finding out what is going to work for you. But if you don't check those things, if you're bad at it, if you need to send yourself email reminders, probably the best thing that I have here, at least on my phone, is reminders, right? I just have reminders. I just set myself, and I'll just say, hey, I have a podcast at 10 a.m. Please remind me at 9:30. And so when I record that, and when I have that, and it reminds me, sometimes I'll put 2 or 3 multiple reminders a day. I want to be reminded an hour before, 30 minutes before and 15 minutes before. Now that you say, well, that's overdoing it. Well, I say, well, if you're disorganized, I don't think you can have enough tripwires, if you will, in place. They're going to remind you of the things that you need to have. So whether that's putting up, your Post-it notes in your bathroom where you're going to most likely see these visual signs that you need to get things done, or whether it's sending yourself or having digital capabilities, they're gonna you set an alarm for those things. And like I set alarms on my phone all the time. It says, you need to stop doing this at this time. You need to start doing this at this time. A reminder to go to the grocery store and say, I got to go pick up milk. And those are, those, like I said, it seems like I'm a crazy person to do that, but I value my time. And I think most youth pastors who are busy value their time. And if you value your time, then being overly organized is a good thing, because you're going to wind up saving your time in ways that you didn't even think. Would you rather, ask yourself this, would you rather have 3 reminders to book the van at a certain time? Or would you rather explain to parents why now you're asking all the parents, as many parents as can, to drive you to camp? So so when you start figuring out that failure is not great, you'll start to remind yourself, because you don't like that feeling of disorganization and of failure, that you'll try multiple things to get there, to be as organized as you can be.